Wide Angle with Karen Coleman on News Talk 106 to 108.
Talking about this new criminal justice bill, which is soon to become a part of our legislation. There've been some people have been critical of it, but we've been hearing from Steve Collins, the father of the murdered man Roy Collins, who was shot dead in Limerick last April, and his killing just shocked the nation. Paul Anthony McDermott is with me in studio. Paul Anthony is a constitutional lawyer and indeed knows well the workings of the Special Criminal Court as well through his work with it. Paul Anthony, can you just, what do you think about this bill? Is it something we should be fearful of, or do you think it will actually help people like Steve Collins?
I think it will help them. I think Steve Collins is an incredibly brave and articulate person. He asked a very good question, which is, who do the civil liberties people attacking the bill represent? The answer is they don't represent anybody. They're self-appointed, and any time there's a new piece of criminal legislation passed which makes efforts to put some of these gang leaders behind jail, they're always on criticising it and complaining and saying we don't have enough time. And I'm sorry to hear politicians also saying they don't have enough time. They've got another 2 weeks. Why don't the Dáil sit all night and debate it and do some work? These ideas have been around for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. There's no call for any politician to say, gosh, this is very surprising, we need another 6 months to read it. There's no reason why this bill can't be passed next week or the week after, and if the politicians have to sit 7 days a week and sit 24 hours a day and actually do some work and read it and get that act together, then all of the necessary debate can take place.
I think that they're saying that, there isn't time allocated in the Dáil as well, but let's not go down that route. Just in terms of some of the elements of this new bill that will be brought in, Paul Anthony, you said you think it will help Steve Collins, who, by the way, is still on the line. And Steve, I will be going back to you, and his family, who are under unbelievable intimidation. And as we heard, his son was murdered last April for what he believes being a witness in a trial that put one of these gang leaders behind bars. That happened 5 years ago. How will this new bill help people like him?
Easily. Firstly, the Special Criminal Court was one of the key tools in breaking the IRA and in breaking the real IRA, because a number of people were convicted and sent to prison for a long time who could never have had a jury trial, simply because could you expect some of Steve Collins' neighbours to go to the Central Criminal Court, give up 6 months of their lives to listen to evidence about gang leaders who will happily kill them or shoot them if they get half a chance? Jurors are afraid to take on these kind of trials for perfectly good reason, because unlike many of the people debating the bill, the average person in the street is perfectly aware what these kind of characters will do to them if they give evidence.
But what Labour say, and Pat Rabbitte has been saying this, Paul Anthony, is that there isn't necessarily evidence in the Republic of Ireland to show that members of juries that have been sitting on trials of a criminal nature, we'll say, of a gangland nature, have actually been intimidated.
Well, how many of those people have sat in the Central Criminal Court where 600 people have been brought for a jury panel and they've all been gone through without getting 12 of them to actually sit on a jury?
That has happened regularly, has it?
Not regularly. It's happened in certain cases. See, part of the fallacy of this argument is we've never really got the people this bill is aimed at before the criminal courts before. This is aimed at the heads of the most dangerous gangs in Ireland, and those kind of people are almost never brought before the criminal courts. So that question simply hasn't arisen. The issue is, if we do succeed in getting those people before the courts. And the beauty of this bill is it has offences such as directing a terrorist organisation or criminal organisation. So for the first time, some of these people who never touched the weapons, never touched the drugs, don't use identifiable mobiles, so you can never get evidence against them to link them to murder or to possession of drugs. Now you'll be able to get those people at the top, the kind of chairman of the board of these criminal gangs, into court. And how are you going to get 12 members of the public to give up 6 months of their lives to sit in a courtroom against the head of a gang which may have 100 people, all of whom for €200 would go out and kill someone, or €200 and a fix of drugs would happily kill anybody? Why should any member of the public have to do that?